Have you ever been knocked down and found it hard to get up? Have you ever been knocked down and bounced back to come back even stronger? Hi, I'm Gaurav Bhagat and you can call me GB, and welcome to the Smashed Bashed Yet Not Dashed podcast, a fortnightly podcast where I speak about persistence, perseverance and overcoming the odds to come out ahead. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I have today a very special guest on the Smashed, Bashed, Yet Not Dashed podcast. Someone who really stood out when she first appeared on TV as a gritty contestant on the hit MTV show Roadies all the way back in 2006. After that, played an active role with MTV, followed up with a first runner-up finish on Big Boss 10. Appears in a starring role on the Emmy-nominated hit Amazon show Four More Shots, Please. An inspiration to millions, not only in India, but around the world, and someone who is as passionate about fitness as she is about acting, and someone who really cares for animals. Welcome, Bani.
Hi, thank you so much. That was just a sweet introduction.
And I love the view right behind you. I actually thought that's a Zoom background, but that is for real, right?
For real, for real. It is like so golden on that side. Like from my bedroom, you can see this whole thing, the whole valley. I like to call it the valley, but it's not a valley. But I just love it. It's so awesome to see it every day. And I come back and I see my dog at the window sit and we're just like, oh my goodness, it's crazy. It's so nice.
Yeah, truly a luxury. In the part of the world that you're in, it's a rare sight. So awesome. And I totally love that. Alrighty. So Bani, I know it's been a crazy few months now. And at the get-go, just want to know how you've been doing through this, trying time and this trying period. So how's it been for you over the course of the last few months?
Well, I honestly cannot complain. That's what I've been saying since, everything got locked down last year. That's the only thing that I've been saying when people ask me, like, how are you doing? I always say, whatever the situation is, I cannot complain. I honestly don't have anything to complain about. I have a roof over my head. I have really good food to eat. I get to train. I get to chill with my dog. I'm not financially, struggling in any aspect. So I just come and I look at the sunset and I appreciate everything that I have, because that perspective is everything in a situation like everyone's been stuck in of late. And the past few months, actually, I was pretty fortunate because I got to go to the States. I was traveling all over, visiting family and just chilling. So yeah, it was pretty cool. And then I came back.
Nice. Yeah. Right. And, of course, you are family and I've known you since you were like really little. But I keep seeing, your love and your passion for pets. So when did this all really begin? I mean, when did this love for, pets and dogs in particular really begin? Because it's something I found really fascinating about you ever since you were like really little.
I mean, if my mom were here, she would probably tell you like 10 stories about how when I was small, I would just keep adopting animals off the street. I would just stray animals and bring them home. And she was all for it too, though. Like I can tell you stories about how she and I would, when she was packing up from the office in Sector 26, like we'd just see like an abandoned dog somewhere who just looked like he really needed a bath and like a home and like a good meal. And like we'd just take him home and give him a bath and feed him, and like help him feel good about what it was. And if we try and get him adopted. And in Sector 10, there was this... I forgot what it was called. There was a little place in Sector 10 on the roof or whatever. They had like a shelter/rescue kind of place going on. Mm-hmm. And I used to go there on weekends and stuff to like help out and like say, is there anything I can do for the animals? Like I was just a kid. Like I just wanted to take care of animals. And I just really enjoyed, I don't know. I just love animals, man. And we've always had dogs at home, dogs, cats, birds, whatever comes by, creepy crawlies, they're there. Yeah, and then it just kind of expanded a bit last year because then this pig arrived right behind my building when I was walking my dog. I don't know if you saw the pig's thing. It was like a huge.
It went for a while. I did see that, yeah.
And I had like kind of adopted this Mama P and her 10 piglets. She gave birth in front of me, dude. It was insane. And so I just nursed them all and fed them, and like I had all of them. I tried really hard to get them adopted by like a farm and check them out. They were massively overcrowded and obviously understaffed because it was COVID. And I was like, maybe it's better for them to just be left here, because if they come here, they might be totally miserable. I don't know what the situation is going to be like. And now it's just like, I just want to get them neutered so that they don't keep procreating, because, it'd be like later, and then there'll be another later, and it just won't stop. So
Agree.
I
Agree.
they're a nuisance because then I think people will just like try and kill them, which is not okay. So I
So
want to
true.
do what.
So true. Yeah, I've always found that amazing. I mean, I remember that, you came to our home maybe like 25 years ago and you're like, so, what happened to Droopy? And I'm like, oh my God, like you still remember like the name of like Droopy and Hot Dog, like two dogs that we had like 25 years ago. That's exceptional. So truly awesome
I mean, he
stuff.
was quite a character, that dog, yeah, you know. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Indeed, indeed. Yeah. Our kids have been like after us for, having pets at home. I think we're going to give in soon and get them some dogs now.
you
So
should.
yeah, we will. We will. So, like me, okay, you were also sent off to boarding school as well, fairly early. And so Woodstock, right? And so Woodstock days, biggest takeaways and learnings from actually going ahead and, heading out to boarding school and heading up to Woodstock.
Well, I wasn't sent away. I forced my mom to send me. She had sent my sister to Woodstock
Right.
as sort of punishment. I don't even remember.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, "You're sending her here for a punishment? What? Punish me? I'll be the bad one. Like, please send me there."
Mm-hmm.
It's happened a few times in my life where I've just like been to like a place or I've been in a situation where I just know I'm meant to be here.
Right.
And that happened to me when you like drive down this slope and you enter Ridgewood Court, which is the basketball court down with the domes are.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as we went there and we touched down, and I was like, oh my goodness, like I need to be here. It was just such a resounding, like all of my entire body. I just knew like you have to be here. So
Right.
I sulked and cried for like an entire year maybe, and then finally, I got it on a scholarship and everything, and I was there, and I was yes, I made it. And I loved it. Like I totally everything from the attitude of the teachers, the other students, the fact that it's a you end up like what they call in Woodstock is like a third culture kid,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
because Woodstock has like a culture of its own. There's so many foreigners, so many people from different countries and cultures and everything coming together. You don't have a uniform there, and there's so much respect given to every single countries. Like whoever's there from, like whether it's Bhutan, Korea, Nepalese people, whether it was German people, whoever it was, like you see them on like their national independence days and stuff, like dressing up in their independence, like the national outfits and stuff like that. And you'd have like different cuisine days and stuff like that. You have like bake sales, and it was just so cool because you got so much exposure at a young age and consistently. It wasn't just like you went for a holiday somewhere for like 6 months and you came back. It
Yep.
was like years, like 5-6 years.
Yeah.
So it definitely teaches you so much more about. I hate the word being tolerant when, especially when it comes to like getting along with people, because I feel like you shouldn't be tolerant. You should be learning to be accepting.
Agree.
Tolerant, putting up with it. So it definitely taught me to be so openly accepting of people, of their cultures, of their differences, and everything like that, and just learning how to coexist, which is, I think, the most important lesson that humanity should be learning, but no one is teaching us, right?
So
Um, so it was like that, and it was just great. Like I think I really grew into like the person that I was gonna become when I was at Woodstock, because I just enjoyed the education system. I loved the art program because I was doing art there so much. And, just having a school in Missouri, man, like, and having, that's why I think I appreciate sunsets and like beautiful views and nature so much, and animals. There were so many langurs and monkeys there we would see during the monsoon time,
mhm.
walking up and down and like hearing Azan playing. And I've talked about some on my Instagram. It was just like, it was just so stunning, everything. And I was like, oh my God. And I was just feeling so much gratitude every time, like every day. Like I was like, oh, this is amazing. Oh, this is amazing. It's very rare for you to be aware of the fact that you are in a situation that that just makes you feel overwhelmingly like, oh, I just want to take it all in. I just want to take it all in, like that. And I was in that for like 5 years.
Yep.
So I think it just instilled in me this attitude of like, I just want to like, oh, so good. I just want to soak it up.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm sure I can't remember. I was definitely had some instances where people tried to bully me in school, in high school for sure. That happened.
Mhm.
But I mean, it wasn't anything that scarred me for life. It was just like, kids have
Right.
differences, and then that's what it is. But definitely, like, I learned a lot. You just learn a lot in high school, right? School, middle school, whatever it is. So
Yeah.
whatever it was, at least made me who I am today. So yeah.
I love that. Yeah, and I completely agree as well because, like I said, went up to Sanaa, and that's where boarding school for me was. And of course, I learned a lot of valuable lessons. Of course, I mean the bullying and the beating was there. Guys get a little more than the girls, of
Sure,
course.
happens, yeah, for boys especially.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
we have a day called Initiation Day, which is when our seniors, like especially when you go to high school, all the
Mhm.
seniors, like that's the officially the way that they introduce all of the ninth graders. That's your entry into high school,
Right,
right?
right.
And like have a whole day where we have to like do things in order to like dares or whatever in
Mhm.
order to like get signatures from them and whatever this
Yeah,
bar of like
yeah.
respect. But it's like officially a whole day in school. So when you're in school, you have to like even the teachers are aware of it and they're like, oh, I gotta do this for so and like it's always some cute stuff, but then some stuff is like, oh my goodness, I don't know what's gonna happen today. It's like that.
Sure that,
But
sure
it's
that.
a lot of fun. You gotta like clean their rooms and like, anything. They can just make you do anything,
Yeah, yeah.
it's
Agree,
fun.
agree. Yeah, so let's move forward a few years now, and it's 2006, and you're gonna sign up for Roadies. I know it's a long time back, but what was your inspiration first for even going on to the show? And once you were there, like what were your big fears, and how did you overcome that?
Well, Roadies, I had never seen the show Roadies because we were in Woodstock and we never watched TV. There was no cable or anything like that. We were
Right.
always in extracurricular.
Mm-hmm.
Like, sit in a room and watch screen was not something that sounded appealing to me at all while I was like, nah, I'd rather go outside and play basketball. I'd rather go do this, I'd rather go do that, whatever it may be.
Right, right.
Uh, and so when what happened was like I was chatting with my mom, and I think we had like a few months until I heard back from the colleges abroad that we'd applied to or whatever. And then in that time we were thinking it was a weekend. I remember the Saturday or Friday, I don't know. And she was going through the paper, and we were thinking of we'd go watch a movie. This
Mhm.
was back in the day when movie listings used to come in the newspaper, in the local newspaper, and used to check the show timings
Yeah, yeah.
before you had apps to book shows.
Sure that.
I've really aged myself with that statement, but it's okay. Power through. And then, so we were looking for a movie, and then, like, on the last page, there was like a half ad of this guy in like a Hawaiian shirt and like a cap, something. And I said, come and try out for Roadies or something like that. And mom was like, hey, why don't you go try out for this? I was like, what is it? And she was like, I think it's like a travel show. I was like, oh, cool, a travel show. I was like, might as well. Sorry,
Yes.
huh?
No worries.
Sorry, I think and I was like, oh, cool. It sounds like a fun thing, a travel show. Why don't I just explore the country before I go abroad? Yay.
Mhm.
It was the next day. The auditions were at Sunday at like 10 in the morning or something. So I was like, cool. If I wake up, I'll go. Sure enough, I woke up, I got ready, and I went. And I just like finished, graduate from Woodstock. So I was just like in my Woodstock, full formation of Woodstock was with me, embodying that energy. And I went for this audition. There were literally 5 girls in the line. I just walked in and I sat down for this like group discussion thing, and they were like, and I realized when I sat down, oh, everyone's speaking in Hindi. Oh, okay, that's cool. And there was one question that Rajiv was asking because they have group discussions in different rooms with different people there, judging it or whatever, and some like question about girls and clothes and attention, which still carries on till today actually. And so people spoke before me that I was like, oh, okay, I gotta speak it in the or I gotta do this. And then like I picked up a few things here and then I was like, and then I said, make my point. And they're like, okay. And I was sitting in the center of the room and I just knew that like when someone's when there's energy focused on you, right? So I was like, but so that I'm it. I know what they're looking for, I'm probably it. And then I got shortlisted, and then the next day there was an interview, this one-on-one interview thing, which I was so confused by because I didn't understand what on earth they were doing. I was like, what are these questions? What are you trying to get at? Like I had no idea what they wanted.
Right.
And then I got there thinking I have no idea what that was about. I have zero idea, and I don't think that I got it. And then mom came to pick me up, and they actually have a clip of this. She came to pick me up, and then they had a list of names out saying whoever's got, who's gotten in or whatever.
Right, right.
My name was on that list. On the original list that they came out with, my name wasn't there. And then
Really?
I was looking at it, and the camera was on me, and they're like asking me for, is your name there? And I was like, no, it's not there. And they're like, what? My name's not there. I'm leaving. And I remember the camera guy was Kamal actually, who's obviously done 20,000 seasons of Roadies since then. I've worked so cool. And he was like, what? And I was like, it's not there. And then Ayan was there. Ayan is a producer for MTV. And she goes, no, of course it's there. This is my dog badge. And the sunset. Boy, good boy. Hi. And so then they took the list off, and then they scripted my name on it, and they put it back up. They're like, now look. And I was like, are you for real? And then I had to like do like a retake of my reaction. And I was like, okay, look, my is there. They like followed me out, and then my there. And then I gave her a hug, and she's like, what happened? I was like, my name is there. She goes, really? I said, yeah. She goes, cool. I said, yeah. And then that was it. It was pretty anticlimactic because I was like,
wow. Yeah. Imagine that. And then you went all the way, and then you went
yeah.
Up. So well done.
Yeah. it was a trying. Any reality show I've ever been on has been kind of trying for me.
I'm
It's
sure.
not quite trying, just because people change when the camera is on them, and then they like, I don't know, it's like an attention thing. They want to like be the focus of it, or
True that.
I don't know. So it brings out different sides in different people. So I got to see all sides of all kinds of people over the years on these kind of shows, and yeah, and that's why I've done. I think I did Roadies, and then like 10 years later, I did the next one, which was Big Boss, because it took me that long to recover from it. I was like, I ain't never gonna do another reality show, guys.
Mm,
So it was like that. It was very, very taxing, and I don't know, but I guess it makes sense. They do them. They make kids do them when they're so much younger, because that's, when you're younger, you're just more you're highly defensive, because you want to like protect who you are,
true.
and then
True.
if like trying to instigate a reaction from you, or trying to challenge you, you'd be like, all right, I'm up for the challenge, let's go,
Mm,
I'll bat with you.
okay.
It was like that, and they would just like mock me and stuff, like really petty stuff, like
Right. Right.
I was like, what? And I saw a couple of the episodes towards the end, and I was saying such deep things for like an 18-year-old.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yeah.
And like, dude, man, I was really deep even when I was 18. That's cool. Respect, Bani ji, at 18. Going, like I was
Indeed.
like I
Mm,
was sitting on a rooftop at like 3 in the morning, because some girl wouldn't let me sleep, and she kept disturbing me. And I was like, I went to the roof and I started screaming, because I just wanted to like vent out this. I was so upset about the way that she was behaving, and I was like, she just wants like a reaction. Or what does she want? I went and screamed at the top of my lungs, and I was
right.
like, I like a cold coffee with some cookies and like a session with my shrink. I said that
Mm,
because when I was in Woodstock, I was in counseling for like 5 years. And like you
mhm.
would go every day, like every other day, every day. I'm saying
Right.
every like, I think twice a week or something, and go and have a session or something like that, because they had a counselor there. And he was
Mhm.
really awesome. I had a couple of counselors through the years in Woodstock that I just found really helpful. Like it was just nice to talk to someone who's older than you, had more perspective, and
Right.
back on certain situations. So I thought that was really nice to have some kind of guidance.
Right.
Um, so that was pretty cool. So I mean, I can't believe I yelled that when I was 18. I was like, nice. Like I had like no shame about anything, which I thought is it's so cool
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
see that myself. Like I was like, noise.
Right.
So, yeah.
So cool. Yeah. Thank you for sharing. I'm sure a lot of people relate to what you just said. So the podcast, it is called the Smashed Bashed, Yet Not Dashed podcast, because of course, everyone who's been on, they've had those moments in their life, where they truly have been kind of beaten down, they have been smashed, they have been bashed. And I know, going back to, since, of course, I've known you a really, really long time, you've had some of these moments, right? Do you want to talk about some of these that, times in your life where they've been trying times? So, yet, and so let's just talk about them, and then we'll see what really happened, post that as well.
Sure. Are you
So,
good stuff?
yeah, I mean, sorry.
So you just said now you've known me for so many years. I was like, Chalo, he's going to bring up something. Chalo, I'm ready. What are
Right.
we talking?
Yeah, no. So generally, I mean, for you, what would be your biggest smash bash moments where you truly were, beaten down, and you said, okay, how do we come through this?
I think uh, I think one of the biggest challenges for me while I was growing up had nothing to do with work or money or anything like that. It would definitely have been a situation where um, it's always been about family for me. In terms of family's always been extremely important to me, and
Right.
my the people that are like at my core of whatever the definition of family is for me, which would be my mother and my sister. And I struggled a lot when I was in high school, especially to like form like this relationship with my mom and my sister, and like for us to be close. And like I just had this ideal definition of what a family is meant to be like. And obviously minus our dad, like I just knew that it was like the three of us, And obviously like, my sister was in this relationship with this guy called Aman, who is now her husband, which is great. They were high school sweethearts and everything. Both were each other's first boyfriend and girlfriend. It's a super sweet story.
Mhm.
But like she was so enamored by this relationship, they both were. So like she would give him so much priority over like me, and I'd get upset about it. Like I remember I went to his dorm one day in Woodstock, because he was also in Woodstock, and I
Right.
went to him because it was like my birthday, and or it was her birthday. I don't remember.
Mhm.
It was my birthday because he got me a box of crackles. I used to
Mhm.
like crackers. And I went to his dorm and I called for him, and I was like, hey man, it's really uncool, like you're taking my sister away from me and it's my birthday and I want to spend time with her. I was so naive back then. I was like 15 or 16. I was just like a kid who wants to spend time with the sister, thinking like she's busy spending time with her boyfriend. Her boyfriend's not giving her any time. Not realizing, which I realized later in
Mhm.
hindsight,
Mhm.
that they were obviously spending time together because they wanted to, like voluntarily. It wasn't like, she was being forced to spend time with him. But
Right.
like it felt like either someone's taking her away from me or something like that. I don't know. So it took me some time to like understand that, and like, I had to like work on a bunch of things about it. And I think I still struggle with some of that today, which
Right.
is just, I mean, it's always like a work in progress,
Yeah.
uh, but I've become so much better. And the thing is, because you don't want to, there's a very fine line between becoming so detached from wanting to be with somebody or
Mm.
having a certain amount of expectation, especially when family is involved, which is always a very tricky situation for everybody. But to still kind of like give them enough leeway where you just have enough distance with yourself that you're like, I love them and it's cool if, they don't have the time for me, but I still love them and it's cool. And if they need me, I'll be there. So this
Mm.
was that I kind of had to form on my own and like have this kind of resilience within myself for
Right.
myself as well as for my, my sister and my mother.
Yeah.
And it was also obviously my mother was really sick since I was a kid. Like, since I was like 3, she had cancer and stuff like that. And that's always something that's like, even if it's like I had brought it, it was always at the forefront of my mind. And then I put it in the back
Mm.
of my mind when I started working and stuff, because I was like, this is nothing new. I know this information already. And I do know she's going to be sick. And I do know she's going to pass away at some point in time. And
Right.
I would, and I think mainly because I was living on my own since I was 19, I got to work a lot on myself. I did so much. I still do.
Right.
Because you become so self-aware because you're spending so much of this time with yourself. I didn't have a TV in my house for like 12 years when I moved to Bombay, because
Mhm.
I was like, I don't need a TV. I don't want to be distracted. I would rather
Yeah.
like, just meditate and focus on things and whatever, build a practice that would help me. Sorry, my dog is playing with a toy.
Yeah.
So, and then my grandfather passed away, and
Mhm.
then
Mhm.
it was just like there was just a lot going on
Good.
through the years with all of this. But now I feel like it's so much better. Yeah, I don't know what the point was of me telling this whole long story,
No, no, I totally get it because
but
yeah, yeah, like so like Tanya, even my mom, like she too struggled with illness, from the time I
yeah,
was 12, till I think she passed away when I was 27.
yeah,
But she was a real trooper, as was your mom as well,
yeah,
right? And I get it, and sometimes people like, okay, you're so close, you're, a little, less emotional. I mean, that's putting it mildly. I mean, the joke is that if you cut my, my wrist, you might actually have ice flowing out of my veins. So I think it's also like a little bit of a defense mechanism where we kind of, because of what we've seen, perhaps, I think we just react a little differently, maybe.
yeah. And the thing is, like, I think I'm the opposite of that actually, because when I was a kid, like when I was very young, like even before I was in my 20s, I like before I went to Woodstock, basically, I would like not hug people, and like,
Mhm.
I just wouldn't. I would be like, hey, everything's cool, and I was always full of the jokes and the banter and all of that. And then once I
Mhm.
went to Woodstock and I had like these discussions and sessions with these councils and stuff over the years, it really helped me so much to deal with a lot of this stuff, and really spend time and get to know myself and understand why there's certain things that I do the way I do them. And there's this one thing that I discovered, which is like we all love to tell these stories about ourselves, about our past, and these narratives that we follow. And like, I'm like this because of this, and I'm like this because of this. So just deal with it, and this is the way it is, and that triggers me, and da 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 da. And I'm insecure because of this, and I'm anxious because of that.
Right.
And there was a time up until my early 20s that there was just a couple of stories that I would just keep telling. Like I didn't even realize because it was such an unconscious thing. And whenever I meet somebody new and like, I wanted them to get to know me, I felt like this is something that they would need to know in order to get to know me. Like, this is what I've been through in my life. Let's go through these 5 chapters, and then you'll understand why I'm the way I am.
Mhm.
Not realizing it's so different from who I have become in the last like 10 years.
Sure.
Which is like a 180, because now I meet people like I'm a blank slate.
Uh-huh.
Like I don't
Uh-huh.
carry anything with me because there is nothing to carry forth with me. That was the person who had these experiences, and that's great in that moment, and that's it. But now in this moment when I'm having this podcast, I'm not carrying 20,000 things with me of this anxiety and this stress and this, whatever it may be, this expectation or whatever. I
Right.
have to come up and sit here like empty and available
Mhm.
and create space,
Mhm.
so that then I can also receive what it is, that you are speaking about, what we are bringing together to create or
Correct.
whatever.
Correct. Yeah, exactly.
That's, it's taken me like all this time to get it, and
Mhm.
I glad I got some of it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, it's been like a
Yeah.
massive learning situation. So yeah.
Yeah, thanks for sharing. So your mom, so of course, someone who's pretty dear to me, and I know she came up when I went to Sanaa for the first time. She came for my first WOP, which is like the walkout pass, and I just joined school, and she came up and she took me out for lunch, and we went to Mushroomly, which is on the way up to Kasoli at Garkhal. And it was truly the highlight of my, that first term, because if somebody finally came up to see me and all of that. And I know even when I was really small, I think one time we were heading up to Simla and we were staying at your, place in Chandigarh. And she gave me, I think, my first encyclopedia, which was Tell Me Why. So
Tell me why. I
yeah.
hope.
Yeah, so it was yellow, tell me why. And I remember that, so the cover had kind of fallen off. It's like, keep this. And she goes, it's a nice thing. And I think that's, got me kind of started on my journey of encyclopedias. And then I got, Let's More and even more. And so all the other tell me whys that followed. So yeah, she's a cool person. So deep down inside, like even today, do you still think you're a pretty private person and a situational extrovert? Like when the circumstance requires you kind of flip a switch and you're different, but deep down inside, fairly private.
So I don't think that there's different aspects of my personality like that. I just feel as though I can channelize, like when I need to be like super out there. Actually, there's no need. There's never a need for me to be a certain way. I'm so comfortable with being however I'm feeling like being, that, you know what I mean? Like there's no situation that it requires anything of me in terms of, hey, Bani, be happy right now. Hey, Bani, be sad right now. Hey, Bani, be 100% active and like socialize with every single person. I don't put that kind of an expectation on myself. And I've said this a couple of times. Like I have zero problems letting down your expectations of me, dudes. I got zero problems with that. You're the ones with the expectations. I don't really care about that. Yeah. I care what's happening with me and what's inside me and like what I feel comfortable doing. So I don't give myself any of that pressure at all. I enjoy interacting with people. I enjoy cracking jokes and like, I enjoy funny banter and intelligent banter, stuff like that. I am a pretty playful person that way. Like I just, and then there's definitely days where I'm like way too zened out from meditation. And then like, I just want to like go and like train, and I do that. So I'll give myself that leeway to do whatever it is, that space. Actually, I give myself the space to do whatever I want to do, whenever I want to do it. And I'm very lucky to be in a position, very fortunate to be able to do what I want to do when I want to do it, with whoever I want to do it. It's cool. If I want to get up, I want to go, I'm going to do it. Something that I've wanted to do since I was a kid, because I saw my mom and the way she used to struggle and stuff. And I was like, yo, and this is the biggest life lesson that I learned from watching my mom struggling and stuff when we were just like toddlers, which is that, anytime in life that you don't know what you want, or you do know what you want, actually, if you don't know what it is that you do want, you're definitely going to be in a position at any given point in time where you're just like, okay, I 100% know what I do not want my life to be. Oh, I don't want to be in this situation. What would be better? That would be better than this situation. Okay, let me focus on that right now. So this was something that I definitely wanted since I was a kid, which was I wanted to be financially independent, never answer to anybody, and just do whatever I want, man. Just do whatever I want, and live without judgment. So
like that. Yeah.
That's life. And that's literally what I've been living since as long as I can remember. And it's not by accident, dude. It's just not by accident.
Yeah, completely by design. Awesome. Do you are you big into like setting goals, and are you actually like setting goals, writing down goals, and kind of doing a review on your goals and stuff like that?
So I'm not like a person who plans like 5-year plan, 10-year plan, nothing like that. It's way more generalized that like I have a very generalized outlook on my life. Yeah. 4 things that I know for a fact that my life is gonna have. Like I'm definitely gonna be happy. I'm gonna be healthy. I'm gonna be always doing things that in production of having my creative juices flowing. And I will always be creating something, whether it's me in front of the camera, whether it's me behind a camera, whether it's me on a canvas, or whether it's me in a book, or whether it's me just making clothes or whatever it may be. Yeah. It's always gonna have heart in it, because I can't do anything if I'm not in it 110%. I'm not can half-ass anything, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not, so it's just what it is.
Lovely. Yeah. And yeah, speaking about clothing, you have a clothing line coming up, right? I heard about that.
Yeah, I'm so excited about it because it's finally completion, and I was like, yes. It's taken a while, man. It's taken like 5 years. I've had like 2-3 people have tried out to like get samples and fabrics and stuff like that. All of them let me down except for this guy. This one guy is the guy. so excited about it.
Awesome.
So
Look with that, and I'm sure it's gonna like be massive. So awesome.
yeah, I'm so psyched about it because I know I have such a good feeling about it, and I love it. I love feeling like that because I just like nothing can go wrong. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah. It's a good attitude to have for sure. So you're
yeah.
so big on exercise and diet, and so when you first started out, um, what is that kept you going? Because I think once you get into the rhythm of things, it gets kind of easier. But when you first started out, like what was one of the big challenges, and how did you overcome that? Because I think that is a big problem with people today, that they just don't know how to start and how to then keep the momentum going.
Oh, yeah. Well, motivation was never a problem with me. Has never been a problem with me.
Mhm.
It's just never been an issue. The only thing that I struggled with when I got to the gym was why am I not strong, dude? How do I lift this? It's so heavy. Like, I'd be like, why? I don't want to lift the small dumbbells. I want the big dumbbells.
Mhm.
Like, come on, man, don't do me like this to my, like, come on, man. Why are you gonna embarrass me like that? Like, come on, dude. Like,
Mhm. Mhm.
but that was like something that I was like, come on, dude. So within myself, I knew that I had it in me to be strong, and I had like this. I just knew that I would eventually have the body that I have today. I would just have to work for it, and I had no problem working for it. I was like, I gotta this gap from here to there, from where I want to be. I'm gonna do it,
Mhm.
and I've been doing it for years. And because you see the changes in how you're feeling. Those 5 kgs get lighter, over some weeks, and then you get 10 kgs and 20 kgs, and uh yeah, and I never thought that I would ever in my life have a 150 kg deadlift under my belt. I never thought I'd be able to lift 100 kgs for like 2-3 reps. I never thought about it. But at that point in time, I started with like, I just want to be able to lift 20 kgs. I just want to lift 30 kgs. I just want to lift 40 kgs. I just want to be able to pull ups without any support. It was stuff like that, and I really enjoyed it. And it wasn't like there was somebody there who was like watching me and saying, she's done 10, she's done 20 now, she's done 5, she's done 3, she didn't do that. Like,
Mhm.
I don't have a critical voice in my mind at all. I've always said that there's this one voice in my head, and it's my cheerleader. I have like a squad in there, and I've always had it. I'm never critiquing myself. I'm never.
That's amazing. But I think a lot of people are just being too
I
hard on
don't
themselves.
say, nah, I'm so hard on myself, and I do this and I do this, and I'm just like, that's not productive. I mean, I don't know. I can't imagine what that must be like.
Yeah.
Like in my, got this, man, you got it, and I'm like, yeah, I got it.
Mhm.
That's like the voice in my head. It speaks in like 20 different languages and
Yeah.
accents.
Yeah.
It's just fun.
Awesome. Yeah. Like that's to be being in a really, really good space. So advice for people, who are avoiding exercise and avoiding, eating healthy. What's your advice to them? Let's just say.
I don't give advice to anybody about training and exercise. I just don't do it because if they really wanted to do it, they'd be doing it. And it's as simple as when people say, you know what, you can't help people unless they want to help themselves. I'm like, you're 100% right. And when people are like, I can't do that, I'm like, you're right, you can't do it. So I'm not gonna waste my time. Bye. Like literally, it's like that. Whereas and then there's so many people that come up to me, they're like, hey, tell me how to do this now. And I'm like, no, I don't want to tell you. You just want to waste my energy and hear me talk about it for 25 minutes, and then you'll apply none of it. It happens so often. But I just people who are not into lifting, don't be into lifting. Find
Right.
something. And I say this on my Instagram as well. Like, just because you see me lifting in and out every single day does not mean you have to lift as well. I
Correct.
want whatever I'm doing, in whatever energy that I'm bringing, to just inspire people to move your bodies. You
Yeah.
don't have to lift 100 kgs. You don't even have to lift 20 kgs if you don't want to. Your thing can be yoga. Your thing can be music. Your thing can be taking a walk with your dog. Your thing can be just going and feeding the birds. Your thing can be sitting on a park bench watching the sunset. You just have a thing. Just have a thing that
Yeah.
makes you happy in a day. And then your whole life will eventually become like at one thing if that's what you want. It's just too much work, I feel, honestly, to ask or to even put it on anybody else and ask them to change their entire life. Like, there's so many people in my life that I have come across, and I'm just like, oh man, they're just sleeping, dude. They're fully asleep and they need to wake up. And who on earth is gonna whose responsibility is it to wake them up? And I've realized this after having been that person to try and wake them up and say, bro, live your life. Like, what you doing? Like, wake
Mm.
up. And I've met a couple of people like that. And I've also realized it's a very important thing that's missing in between trying to wake somebody up and them waking up, which is that their receptivity of it. So they have to be in a receiving mode of wanting. They have to be hungry for that change, for that transformation, because it literally is a transformation. Like there's so many people that I've met in my life where, and I've seen it in myself, which is when, there's this saying, and it goes, and I'm paraphrasing, which is something like, that a transformation that begins whether mentally or emotionally will set this chain of thought or action off in somebody's life. And it be inspired by action, right? So it's the action and the will to do something physically has to emotionally inspired situation, or like something has to happen within you, and then the transformation becomes complete when you see it manifested in them physically. Now this goes both ways. It can be with sickness and health and stress, and it with just a person blossoming and just coming out the other end, having realized what their true calling and purpose is, and there's a shift in their energy and their physicality changes. It just like, that's what it is. And I've met like not a lot of people, just one or two people literally that I've known that have changed like this, like the physicality's changed, man. Sickness and illness and health and stress. So I've seen hundreds of people around me falling prey to this. And they can blame it on the environment all they want, but they are their environment. Their mind is their environment. Their body is their environment. So
very true.
Yeah,
no, agree 100%. 100%. Deep stuff, yeah, Bani. Like next you should be like a coach as well. And
this is why I don't do podcasts very often. This is why I don't talk much also, because then when I do, then I feel like I'm talking about things that not a lot of people can understand. And then for me to explain it also, I feel as though then I'm just gone into a tangent that not a lot of people can understand. You know what I mean? So then I'm just like, that's cool. Keep it. I don't know. So
yeah. So yeah, I get that. I see where you're coming from. But tell me this. I mean, youth icon for sure. I mean, so many people look up to you. In the office, I was saying, hey, I'm doing a podcast with Bani. Like, really? And everyone's like sending me like a whole bunch of questions and a whole bunch of stuff. And obviously, I didn't take too many of them up, but people are really excited. So point being this, I mean, I work with a lot of the youth today. We, have a lot of, them that we interact with. I've been going into colleges and speaking over there as well. So what they don't realize is that, and like for you, like building your brand, all of this and, has building your following, all of this has taken time. It's taken effort, but everyone wants today, they want like really quick results. And this could be anything, right? From a body to like, a Instagram following to anything. They just want everything to be done at like really, really quickly and instant gratification. So advice to these guys, because like I said, they really look up to you and be great to, just have some thoughts from your perspective.
Well, the one thing that makes the most sense to me when it comes to in regards to training and fitness and health and dieting is like when people say like, oh man, can you teach me how to get rid of this on spot reduction on their bodies, or how do I lose this fat? What's the best way? 10-minute workout bataiye and all that. And I'm just like, bro, did you become fat in 10 minutes? Did you get love handles in 5 days? Then expect them to disappear in that much time. It's like that, so that's literally because that's something that they can relate to, because they know they didn't get fat overnight. It took a lot of bad habits. You got to imply like now good habits and reverse all of that, because you can do it, but it's gonna take work, and you just a shortcut because you think it's gonna be easy. But guess what, man? Most things in life worth having and worth doing are not going to happen at the snap of a finger. And the best part about this whole analogy of good things taking time is that it's all got to do with momentum of thought and belief, right? Now, I've had enough thought and momentum has picked up on my beliefs about the kind of life I'm going to live, about the money I'm going to have, about the businesses I'm going to own, and everything. I've been working on this. It's got more to do with the action that you do not see than it has to do with what you can see that I am physically doing. It has more with me doing nothing physically, the action. It has more with me sitting here and knowing and having this feeling of 100% conviction and belief in every cell of my body that my life is going to turn out 100% the way that I want it to turn out without me having to break into a sweat. Unless I'm in the gym. No, and people will be like, what do you mean? And I'm like, how do I explain what I've learned in the last 10 years to you in 5 minutes? I can't do it.
Agreed.
But that's not my goal. That's not my purpose, is not to explain these things to people. You know what I mean? That's somebody else's goal and somebody else's calling.
Agreed.
But and so now, after having set this emotional thing, after having set this motion of momentum, it's gathered so much of speed and whatever, that now I'm at a point in my life that if there's anything I want to do, I can snap my fingers and do it.
Yeah.
To me, it doesn't feel like it happened overnight because I wasn't trying to make it happen overnight, But now I'm at a place in my life where if there's something I want to make something happen overnight, I probably could, I could.
Correct.
And I got to this place by not being in a hurry, by having faith and 100% belief in myself of where I was going to land up. And the main thing is, the main trick of the biggest hack is like, people believe. People don't understand what a belief is. A belief you keep repeating to yourself. It's like an affirmation. It's like when you say, "Oh, I can't eat spicy food." Then guess what? You can't eat spicy food. But I really can't because don't justify your bad beliefs to me, bro. I don't think. So it's like people say, "Oh man, I really want to buy that, but like I don't have the money." There is nothing in my life. I have never uttered the statement कि भाई मेरे पास पैसे नहीं है वो खरीदने के लिए. I have never said it.
Right.
I don't live my life with that kind of a belief system. My cheerleader will not allow it. Nah, bruh. My cheerleader's like, yeah, we got this, man. If not today, tomorrow, we gonna have it. And I'm like, yeah, we are, And then I always tell people this other thing, which is like, I'm just skimming the surface of all of these things because people do later if they want. The rest of the next thing is about, forgot what I was saying. About skimming the surface of this. Do you want?
You want the belief piece and having faith and.
I forgot.
No,
It's gone.
Come back.
Now it's gone. And that's what happens. It's life.
So, I mean, like I said, some of the things that you shared have been like so good, and I think a lot of people really resonate and connect with that.
The biggest hack. The biggest hack. If people can understand. So most people believe that this statement is true. Tell me if you agree or not. To be successful takes a lot of struggle and hard work.
Limiting
yes
belief?
or no? Right?
Limiting belief.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, once you start thinking on those lines, then you've had it, because then it's going to be a struggle and it's going to be hard.
But here's the thing that most people don't understand. They don't understand that this is a keyword, what you just said, limiting belief. And they don't understand the difference between limiting and belief. They don't understand how that in a sentence is causing just own way. You're just standing in your own way by saying, nah, I'm limited. Nah, I can't do it. Nah, it's so hard. But it takes so much work, So they're looking at it the wrong way. They need to kind of change. And that takes like a huge unlearning process and then relearning it and then feeling it. Like I'm saying, you got that emotional. There's a reason that we're emotional beings, and there's a reason that we have brains and we can think. That's all energy that we can use to create magic that we want in our lives, dude. It's it's actually very simple. I'm not saying people won't struggle with it, even the ones do understand it. There's days when I wake up and I'm like, wait, what happened? And I'm like, why am I feeling like this? This is not how I want to feel. How do I want to feel? I'll tell you. And then I start to feel that way. But it literally takes that. Like 2 days ago, I was struggling with something. Like I saw something and somebody sent me something and I was like, why did they send me that? Why did I? And now I'm thinking about the past. And there was this thing. This is the one that's amazing if you can understand it. People like to live in their past and they keep replaying their memories of their past, and that holds them back. Instead of reliving your limiting beliefs that have come from situations that you have had experiencing in your past, try this instead. Try remembering your future. I'll say it again. Try remembering your future and what that looks like, and do it all the time. And one day you'll open the door to your 3-bedroom apartment overlooking a view like this and say, wow, I dreamt of this like a year ago, and now here I am.
Yeah.
I'm not joking. I envisioned this apartment like a year ago or something,
Yeah.
and I got it. That's it. That's all there is to it. You just gotta literally believe. People are gonna be like, that sounds like so much hooky pooky. Okay, then it's hooky pooky, bro. That's your limiting belief. You got it. That's what it is.
Yeah. Oh, with you 100%. Like I said, I mean, my vision board is all over the place, right? And there'd be like printouts everywhere. Like I open my cover in the vision board. I wake up in the morning to the vision board. People are like, what's up with you, dude? Like, and I know years ago I wrote out a check and I said, hey, that's the check I'm going to cash out. I know it's a gym thing, but yeah. And then this is the building I'm going to own. That's where my office is going to be. And people are like, dude, it's never going to happen for you. You're just like this tiny ass gifting company in Delhi and it's never going to happen. And today those conversations are different. So I totally relate with what you just said. And I said even in the space that we're now in and the things that we do, there's interesting things happening. So totally get that. And
I just wish more people got it. But there's a lot of work that goes into being able to do it.
100%.
And a lot of people don't want to do that, or they're just lost and don't know how to start.
Yeah.
But that's what I keep saying. When you want it bad enough, you're going to be able to find the way to do it. They're not in the place right now where they want it to happen.
Yeah.
They haven't covered it yet. So
yeah.
But I mean, some of your listeners definitely are on that path because we've been talking about it for such a long time now. So
100%. So as we wrap it up, maybe last 3-4 questions, because I know it's almost coming to about an hour as well. When you go back to Chandigarh, okay, like do you have people who, when you were starting out in your journey, who kind of, were skeptical and they said, oh, she will not account too much and this path that she's on is not really going to, play out too well for her. And today they're like, oh my God, this is like so inspirational. So there's been like a 180-degree flip in the way they actually see you and the way they saw you and the way they look at you now. Do you see that a lot?
I actually, this is the cool thing about like when we talk about momentum and beliefs and all of that, like I've never paid attention to people talking shit. I just don't do it. I stopped when I went on roadies. Uske baad to I was like, I'm never going to be surrounded by people who don't believe in me. I'm never going to be surrounded by this. Because I knew at that point in time, it started out with me saying, nah, I believe in myself. I know what I got. I know. And it was just here. I didn't need, this was what it was. I've never needed validation outside of me. I've also not had much of it since I was a kid and stuff. Like I never got it that much for whatever reason. I never got it that much. And I'm thankful for the fact that I didn't get it as much, even though maybe I needed it or wanted it as a kid. I'm not even sure, but I don't have memory of that. But what I do know for a fact is there was a point in my life where it stopped 100% mattering to me what people A thought of me, what they were saying about me. I just didn't care because the only voice that mattered to me was the one in here saying, "You got this." Super. And that voice has like been with me forever because I am my own best friend. Because I feel like your relationship with yourself is the most important one. People say like, "Hey, what's the most important relationship to you? Who's your best friend?" I'm always like, "Me, duh." Like I've been there for me since day one, yo. Who's my day one? Me. That's right. Whatever. But like, it's kind of like that. People that I've known in Chandigarh. So I'm in a space where I only have people in my life that I love, that I love and that love me unconditionally. Yeah. And that's one of the things that I've always wanted in my life, and I have it.
Yeah.
And I don't really give a shit if people doubt me, man. I don't hear it. I don't see it. It doesn't come to me on whatever frequency I'm at. It don't reach me. It's not another channel. I'm not to that channel.
Again, I think great insight because a lot of people really get, pulled down by the haters and they just, hate on me or I wrote that comment or something. And then they just waste a lot of time then, and a lot of mind space in just getting kind of beaten up about that. I just think, again, super insight that just let it be, like it doesn't matter.
Like I think when I was younger and on Instagram and I had started Instagram wasn't what it was like a few years ago in India, especially. I joined it to be a part of the fitness community, sport community and that stuff. Like people scroll back, if you scroll back far enough in my Instagram, you can see it started off as my fitness journey, me tracking my food and like how I started. All those posts are still up there. Why would I remove them? Right. I love that, people go back all the way to it and they're like, wow, this is what she started and look where she's at now, because they can see it. They can see the physical transformation happening in front of them. And scroll by and see it. And in it, you can also see the difference in my tone and the way that I'm speaking about my journey. Sure. And stopped giving a fuck about, sorry about swearing, about other people's opinions. Like like in the middle, I think a few years ago, there were so many people, magazines and stuff, that were interviewing me about like, oh, you talk so much about body shaming and stuff. I was like, do I? They're like, yeah, you talk about, like how you don't give a shit about what people think. I was like, yeah, because I don't. But that I don't know how. But they were making it about me talking about my body and stuff, just because I was posting pictures of me from the gym talking about. I don't give a fuck what people say. But it was more of a belief in every aspect of my life, as opposed to just me in and out of the gym. He didn't give a fuck, and I just don't. Yeah, I talked a lot about how patch, and I remember it was this one post I made about society has little boxes and trying to fit me into these boxes, and how I refuse to, because that's it's so unnecessary for me to try and fit into a mold that you've set for me to make yourself more comfortable. I understand what it, but I'm not here for that. I'm not here to make you feel more comfortable and to make you feel safe and to make you feel assured and to make you feel like whatever it is that you're insecure about. Like, I'm not here for that. I'm here for me, dude. All right. I'm sorry you got issues. Work on them. I'm sure you can be better. But I don't have time for that. I'm sorry, dude. I'm a highly empathetic human being, but mostly with myself first. Then I come to you.
You gotta put your mask on first, right? Before you're gonna be helping the person on the seat next to you.
Basically, especially the children.
Sure. So how the next few months and years looking for you? What's really planned out? What's lined up? And what are you excited about in the next months and years?
Well, I have shoots starting on Monday. Sunday I have to fly out. Monday I'm shooting, and then I'm shooting for a few days, and I come back, which is for this film we have to finish shooting, which I was doing this Tamil film. So we have a few days left on that. I have to shoot there. I think there's an outdoor schedule for that, and then I think we start for more shots season 3 finally. Excited about that as well. And then there's like this other show that I'm supposed to. There's like a show and a movie and some other stuff that's supposed to be happening. It's been on hold for like the past 6 months. So. But I think it's all coming together now, so that's gonna be fun. And then, of course, the clothing line. I'm super excited about that. I've also started my YouTube, so we're vlogging now.
Lovely.
We're vlogging now, yo. So I'm all over the place, but it's fun but the only thing when I'm making like a vlog and I'm working on that for my YouTube, then I don't post stories while I'm doing that, because I like to do everything 100%, like everybody knows. So if I'm doing the YouTube, I'm gonna do 100% of the YouTube, and I'm gonna just let like people know, yo, do you want to see this? And if they say yes, all right, then I'm gonna work on it and I'm gonna just shoot that. So that vlog should be ready in like a day, I think by tomorrow, because I was sitting with the editor yesterday for like 4 hours and we got so much done. Yeah, it's exciting. I'm just doing things that I enjoy doing, that I love to do.
Lovely.
And yeah.
Super stuff. So perhaps a concluding question now. So COVID really has messed up a lot of people in the head, right? It's been kind of a pause. For many, they haven't really been able to get out and live the lives that they were. And many people right now, and again, the reason why I call it smash, bash, yet not dash, but people who are kind of smashed and bashed right now, your advice to everyone who's just struggling to bounce back. I mean, that would just be parting thoughts.
Let's see. I'm just thinking of, there was this a few months ago, at the end of last year, I had 4 existential therapy sessions that I did, because I felt like I was having an existential crisis. I literally felt like I went through it, and it was so unlike me and the kind of person that I believe to be, that I was like, what's happening? Like, I was questioning everything. But what is the point? And my question was always, but what is the point? But we're going to die. What is the point? What is the point of me doing anything? Why do I have to do that? No, what's the point of that? No, but why am I training? No, what's the point? I questioned everything. I just woke up one day for many days and I just kept questioning everything. And I meditate and I would do my pages. And this was the time when I had stopped doing my morning pages. So there was a bunch of things that I was not doing that I would normally do. And then this happened. And then I was like, all right. And then there's this thing which is like you have like an awareness, and then you have you.
Right.
And so I got so caught up in the you of it, in the me of it, that it took me some time to get back to the awareness side of things, where I could then have enough distance between what was happening actually and then observing it, as opposed to getting caught up in the chaos of it, right? Which is where a lot of people get lost, and then they just drown, So when that happened to me, I was like, all right, let's do these existential therapy sessions. I'm gonna do it. Let's find out what's happening, man. Let's delve into it. And you, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of like that slow, progressive therapy where they talk about your past for 8,000 hours and then all of that stuff.
Right.
You know, so now tell it to me because I think I'm evolved enough to get it. Don't make me guess shit. Let's just get there. Let's just get there today. So I understood what had happened in that situation, and it led to such a conclusion in my life from this one relationship that I was really hoping that I would just move on from. It was like just something that it was like the remnants of the past or something that was still there, and I just really wanted to push through it and come out the other side. And it was such a massive wanting, which is what I understood, which is why I had to go through this and question every single thing that led me to the sessions, then led me to this conclusion, and then I came out the other side like shining, and I won. But that just suffice to say that I went through this.
Yeah.
Remember speaking to two of my friends about, my closest friends about it, and they were just like, what's happened to you? Are you okay? They were like so worried about it. And I was like, no, I don't understand why this is happening, but I want to understand what it is. And like, but at that point, the thing that definitely helped me was doing my morning pages, and 100% meditation helped me a lot. So those are just things, and obviously training. I just did not stop training. I trained no matter what. Even if my heart was in it, I fucking trained. I just got it done. Because it is what it is some days, and you just say, ain't nothing to it but to do it. These are just things I say all the time. Ain't nothing to it but to do it. Just gotta do it, man. Are you gonna sit? You're just gonna train. Let's train. Because I'm not a sitting down moping person. I like to move my ass and get a shift of energy happening, and then I whatever it is. So for people who are struggling with things like this and you're questioning stuff, I would honestly say try and meditate, download some apps that can really help you, and even just when you're just inhaling and exhaling, just focusing on something that is other than your thoughts, just being able to shift that energy from your thoughts onto it for even 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 1 minute, will help you break that chain of being stuck in that negative loop. All honesty say, just go for a run. Go walk up and down the stairs in your building for 20 minutes. You'll be sweating like a mad person, and then you'll be so tired, you just have to sleep. And then guess what? You'll wake up and then you can try and align yourself again. But you have to wake up with the intention of wanting to be in a better place. You gotta set that intention with yourself. How long do you want to be bad about this? 5 minutes? All right, give yourself 5 minutes. Time yourself. It's done. Now get up and do something. You know what I mean? You have to be like, give yourself some tough love. Give yourself some tough love, man.
Yeah.
So, and just know that it's a choice. You got a choice, dudes. You got a choice. Make a choice. What choice you making? Don't make it a subconscious choice. Make it a conscious choice.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. So meditate, journal, and stay in action. And if you need help, go out and get some. Because yeah, awesome. So thank you so very much for this. I know we've come to almost an hour, and we could have probably gone on for longer, but you probably have stuff to get done as well. And appreciate you doing this. I mean, like I said, this is so precious. I feel like getting my book back from the publishers, and I'm saying, hey, we need to put this sections from here and there now. So I told you, might even end up actually doing that. But thank you. Appreciate you taking out time from a very, very busy schedule. And I'm sure once we put this out there, you're going to have a lot of people who are really going to appreciate what you shared today, because I think it really came from the heart. And yeah. So you take care. And again, wishing you all the best with the clothing line. Super excited. And if there's something that we can do there in terms of help you in terms of pushing that out there, etc. Happy to have a conversation around that, of course, as well. And good luck with the restart of all the shoots and the travel and everything else. So stay safe, stay well, and
thank you.
Yeah,
have fun. Good podcast.
Right. Alrighty then. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Thanks. Bye.